Hey guys, this is Editor Grizz here. So before this video starts, I just wanted to say the reason why I haven't been uploading as much as I do from time to time is because every time I'm trying to upload a video, some of the footage gets lost in the depths and the abyss of time itself, never to be returned again. So if you're wondering if the videos weren't coming out, that is the reason. Anyways, back to your scheduled programming. The following presentation is an opinionated, honest, and unbiased solo football talk show made by me. I guess these are only my opinions, so don't get upset. Yo, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of Grizzly Talks Football, a football talk show that I made myself and I'm doing by myself about college football and NFL. So, we got a lot of few segments, so let's get to them. Alright, so first up we have the NCAA Football Week 2 AP Top 25 poll that came out yesterday at the time I'm recording this video. So anyways, we got the top 5 teams. Georgia, Ohio State are the best 2 teams in the nation, no doubt about that. Texas and Bama move up 1 spot, and Notre Dame moves into the top 5 after beating Texas A&M. I'm actually happy with this top 5. And now 6 through 10, Ole Miss is at 6. Oregon dropped to 7 after an abysmal showing against Idaho. Michigan falls down to 10 after the same kind of showing against Fresno State. Penn State and Missouri at 8 and 9. I'm actually pretty happy with this as well. Oregon and Michigan need to get their heads together. Utah, Miami, 11 to 12 after Miami dominated Florida. USC at 13 after they beat LSU. Tennessee and Oklahoma at 14 and 15. I'm happy with that as well. Oklahoma State and Kansas State 16-17. LSU dropping to 18. Pretty nice. Kansas and Arizona moving up. And now Iowa moving up 4 spots. Louisville and Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech being ranked actually shocks me. NC State will not be ranked after week 3 against the Tennessee Volunteers. And Clemson, the transfer portal usage, the lack of it, is going to catch up with Clemson. I say they win like 9 games at best, but they're not going to be competitive anymore. So with that in mind, let's go to the NFL Week 1 predictions. So the first NFL game we got on Thursday Night Football, which is going to be tomorrow night at the time I'm recording this video, is going to be Ravens against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, keep in mind, this is at Arrowhead Stadium and against the 2-time defending Super Bowl champions. However, here's the problem. I think that Kansas City losing their opener is actually kind of a blessing for them. Because last season, Kansas City lost their season over to Detroit, and they actually won the Super Bowl. I think they lose again. I think Baltimore Ravens will shock the Kansas City Chiefs and prove once again that matchups aren't made to be on paper. Up next is the Friday night game at Sao Paulo between the Packers and the Eagles. Most people will pick the Eagles, but here's the problem. I think Jordan Love is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's going to prove that at Sao Paulo. He's going to upset the Eagles in Brazil and prove why he is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And now kicking off the Sunday afternoon games, we got Steelers against the Falcons. I think Russell Wilson may struggle early on with his new team, and I think the Falcons defense is going to take advantage of the struggles. I think my Falcons will win. Hopefully they will get the job done. Up next is the Arizona Cardinals and the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are worse than they were last year, but they're not that as bad. Well, Cardinals are screwed anyway. The Bills are winning this game. Up next, we got the Patriots against the Bengals. Let's not overthink this. The Bengals are easily winning this game. The Patriots just have no chance. Next up, we got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the New York Giants. The New York Giants are down Minnesota Vikings, so this is kind of a tough matchup to pick. However, I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings. They just have a better roster than the New York Giants. So yeah, I think Minnesota wins on the road. Next up, we got Caleb Williams' debut at Soldier Field against the Tennessee Titans, led by Will Levis. Fortunately, the Titans are not very good. The Bears have a good receiving core, and I think they win in the end. And I also forgot they had DeAndre Swift. Next up is the NFC South matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints. This has grounds for a tank bowl. That's how bad these two teams are. But in the end, I do think the New Orleans Saints win this game over the Carolina Panthers. And now we have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Miami Dolphins. The Jaguars are good, but the Miami Dolphins are just a little bit better. Dolphins win this game at home in Miami. AFC South matchup between the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson and C.J. Stroud going at it. Number 2 pick and the number 4 pick from 2023. I think C.J. Stroud gets it done in the end in Indianapolis, so Houston wins. The first of the 4 o'clock games is the AFC West matchup between the Las Vegas Raiders and the LA Chargers. Let's not overthink this. The Chargers are much better than the Las Vegas Raiders, so the Chargers win in LA. Sorry, Raiders fans. Up next, we got the Denver Broncos taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Former AFC West rivals because Seattle used to be in the AFC at one point. You didn't know that, did you? I really do hope Bo Nix balls out all season, but I do not see them beating Seattle in CenturyLink Field. Sorry, Broncos fans, the Seahawks take this one. Kicking off the 425 games, we got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Cleveland Browns. This is going to be a tough matchup to decide, but in the end, I think Dallas just has a way better roster than Cleveland, so Dallas wins in Cleveland, Ohio. Up next is the Washington Commanders taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's not overthink this one. Tampa Bay wins this. Washington, sorry, you guys don't stand a chance against them. The Sunday night football game is between the LA Rams and the Detroit Lions. At Ford Field, Matt Stafford's homecoming. The Rams are just not good enough to beat the Detroit Lions passing attack and rushing attack. They're just balanced on both ways. Rams don't really have too much going on defense. At the end of the day, the Lions offense prevails. And the final matchup we have on Monday Night Football is between the New York Jets and the San Francisco 49ers. The New York Jets are always hyped up every year since Aaron Rodgers came to the Jets. But come on. This is the San Francisco 49ers, one of the most complete teams in the NFL. Niners easily take this one over the New York Jets. And now, on to the NFL division rankings and Super Bowl prediction. Alright, it's time to get to my NFL division ranking predictions. Let's go. Starting off with the AFC North, the most competitive division in the entire NFL last year. I think it's still going to be competitive. Let's just get the first team out of the way. Was there really ever a doubt that the Ravens were going to be the best one? In my personal opinion. Come on. Lamar Jackson is back. They got the king, Derrick Henry, from signing or trade. And they also got Zay Flowers still returning. Unfortunately, they don't have They have Zay Flowers, pretty much the same receiving core as they used to. Mark Andrews. They got a defense with Roquan Smith. I believe Patrick Queen's still there. Marlon Humphrey. There's Pierce as well. I can't remember his first name. Kyle Hamilton. This team is going to be a force in the AFC for years to come. As long as Lamar Jackson doesn't complain about his contract and moves elsewhere. That's the only thing preventing this team from getting out of first place in the AFC North. But I'm very sure they will be kings of the North again. Now for 2, 3, and 4, this is a little tough because there's going to be a lot of controversy no matter which teams I put in there. I'm going to say number 4 will be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, every position, on my personal opinion, is good except for the quarterback. They got Najee Harris and Jalen Warren at running back. They got Pickens and wide receiver. They got a good receiver 1. I actually don't even remember the other receivers from Pittsburgh. Freiermuth at tight end. They got a solid O-line. They got Cam Hayward, T.J. Watt, and Alex Highsmith in the front 7. They got Minkah Fitzpatrick out there in the secondary. You can't go wrong with that defense. But Russell Wilson struggled last year with the Broncos. We just don't know how he's going to do against all the other teams they're going to play this year with the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is why I have him in last, with no idea how Russell Wilson will do with the Steelers. under Mike Tomlin. At least they'll have a winning record. I say they go 9-8 and miss the playoffs. Number 3 and number 2. One team has a quarterback controversy, one does not. The one with no quarterback controversy is going to be number 2. Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Fortunately, no Joe Mixon or Tyler Boyd, but they do have an improved defense, to be brutally honest with you. They're going to have a way better defense than they had last year when they were like 3rd worst in the NFL. That held them back. This time, the defense will not hold them back this time. And they will at least make the playoffs, finishing 2nd in the AFC North. That leaves the Browns with the 3rd spot. Honestly, it's the same thing with the Steelers. Number 1 defense with Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward, just to name a few players on that team. And Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Nick Chubb coming back, Jerome Ford, Jedrick Wills at offensive lineman, David Njoku at tight end. You can't go wrong with that team. The quarterback's going to be controversial. It's going to be controversial because Deshaun Watson hasn't played very many games in the past 2 years he's been with the team. He's only played 12 games, so it'll be interesting to see how he plays out. It plays out with the Browns. Hopefully, for his sake, he can revive his career to what it used to be with the Houston Texans. Onwards to the AFC South. Let's get the number 1 team out of the way again. Houston will win the division again. C.J. Stroud looks to have an even better sophomore season from his Rookie of the Year campaign. And he also has Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell as his receiving core, along with Dalton Schultz as his tight end. His offensive line is still very good. He has Damian Pierce and Joe Mixon at running back. Are you kidding me? And on defense, he has Derek Stingley out there and Will Anderson. Oh boy. Watch out for that team this year. Texans could make a run this time. Maybe to the AFC Championship. Who knows? Anyways, 4th place in the AFC South, I'm going to say is going to be the Tennessee Titans. This team is young. This team has potential. But they're not going to be successful right away. Fortunately, they still have a long ways to go. Will Levis has some good upside. DeAndre Hopkins is a good receiver. They don't have Derrick Henry, but they do have Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears. At running back, I believe they also have a Kungwu from tight end. And at defense, we have Jeff Simmons. That's all I can really say about that team. That's literally it all about the Titans. They really have upside, but they're not going to be successful right away. And that leaves the 2nd and 3rd spots. I'll see Anthony Richardson. He's going to be good, but he won't be good enough to get out of 3rd. This leaves the Jaguars in 2nd. Trevor Lawrence has struggled recently, and it's really concerning for all Jags fans because he has some good weapons like Evan Engram, Christian Kirk, now Gabe Davis, and ETN at running back. And his defense has Josh Allen, Andre Sisco, just to name a few. You can't really go wrong with Jacksonville's defense, but if Trevor Lawrence is going to keep his job, he's going to have to start playing well and play well now. He'll get at least 2nd, but that's as far as Jacksonville can go in the standings. The worst they could finish is 3rd, because the Titans will probably be a little bit worse. And as for the Colts, this season is determined by whether or not Anthony Richardson will be healthy. If Anthony Richardson is healthy, you could still expect him to be 3rd. Maybe they could challenge for that 2nd spot if Anthony Richardson is healthy. He does have Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman at running back and receiver. He has a good offensive line, or should have a good offensive line now. They have DeForest Buckner. I think Shaq Leonard's gone, so that's pretty much all the notable players I could think of on that Colts defense. Oh, and Kenny Moore at secondary. Almost forgot about him. That's pretty much all for the Colts. And now for the AFC East. Let's get the number 4 team out of the way this time. Yeah, you saw this coming. The Patriots have consensusly the worst roster in the entire NFL. They have a rookie coach. They have a quarterback controversy between three players, Milton, May, and Brissett. Who's going to start for that team? Who knows? They may have they don't really have many receivers to begin with. Maybe Devontae Parker, but really? You're going to trust in a 30-something-year-old Devontae Parker? And the defense is not any better because they just traded away Matt Judon to us. So, that's all I can say about the Patriots. It's just mediocre. As for number 1, number 2, number 3, this could really go between these three teams. Really depends on how the season shakes up. First up, we got the Buffalo Bills. Here's my reasoning, because people in the comments are going to say, Grizz, the Bills are still going to be good this year. Why do you have them at third? Here's my problem. Look, Coach McDermott is a really good defensive-minded coach. Unfortunately, not only did his secondary, almost his entire secondary leave, Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, and Micah Hyde on defense. Maybe Matt Milano was out of there as well. Sure, the defensive front is still there with Ed Oliver. Unfortunately, the offense lost both of the two receivers, Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. They have Keon Coleman to throw to now. I hope he has a good career, but Josh Allen has receivers that he's never thrown to. He has Zach Moss, though. He does not have Zach Moss. He has James Cook out there running back, but that's pretty much it. And Dawson Knox. Those are the only two targets he's familiar with. He's gonna have to get used to throwing to Keon Coleman and the rest of the wide receivers on their roster if they want to survive in the AFC East. Number 2 in the AFC East, I got the New York Jets doing that second. This really depends on whether Aaron Rodgers is staying healthy or not. I have faith in Aaron to stay healthy. Well, they have Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall at receiver and running back. They have Uzomah tight end. You also got Mekhi Becton, Elijah Vera Tucker, the offensive line. And on defense, they have Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner. You can't go wrong with that top 10 defense at least. This really depends on whether the quarterback will stay healthy or not. If he stays healthy, I think they're a playoff contender. If not, Jets are going to be third in the division by a long way. But they're going to be close to the Patriots as well. That's why they're going to be number 2. And that leaves off the number 1 spot to the Miami Dolphins. Come on now. You got Tua at quarterback, Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane at running back, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and now Odell Beckham at wide receiver. Tight end, I think you can kind of skip that. Offensive line looks solid. They got some good defensive secondary players. They have Xavier Howard in corner. They got Javon Holland at safety. Maybe Byron Jones is still on that team. I don't know. But you can't go wrong with the Dolphins finishing first in the AFC East. It could go to the Bills, but again, who knows? This is just me. We'll see how the season plays out. And finally, for the AFC, we have the AFC West. Let's get the first team out of the way. Yeah, you saw this coming. You saw this coming as well. Kansas City will win the AFC West once again. I don't think they've lost the division since Patrick Mahomes took over as the starting quarterback. Maybe they actually won in 2017 when that was the last year Alex Smith was on the Chiefs. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there isn't much else to say about Kansas City except they are the reigning 2-time Super Bowl champions. They face Baltimore tomorrow night at the time I'm recording. These, so bear with me here. They have Travis Kelce. They got Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice as their receiving core. You can't go wrong with that. Isaiah Pacheco. I think Edwards-Helaire will still be there, but he'll probably be the running back 2. Offensive line is still good. Defense with Chris Jones, Nick Bolton, L'Jarius Sneed. You can't go wrong with that Kansas City defense. That's why they're going to be the best in the AFC West once again. As far as 2, 3, and 4, I'm going to make this short. Raiders, they have a quarterback controversy. They have a good defensive front with Crosby, and I think his name is Mookin? I don't know. Please tell me how to pronounce this name in the comments, because I have no idea. But I think the Raiders are still going to be last. They have lost Josh Jacobs to the Packers, and they have Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow, and they have the 2 tight end duo of Meyer and Bowers. But that's pretty much it. And they got a good Colton Miller offensive line. But that's pretty much it. Defense could struggle at the secondary. Unfortunately, that's the way it goes. The Los Angeles Chargers are going to be third. Justin Herbert is still a good quarterback. He just got injured, and he had a bad coach in Brandon Staley. But now he has a first-year head coach, Jim Harbaugh. He's got Lam McConkey to throw to. Quentin Johnston, unfortunately, has no hands. And he also lost Austin Eckler to the Washington Commanders. And he lost Keenan Allen, Chicago Bears, Mike Williams to the Jets. Fortunately, the Chargers and Raiders are fighting to get out of last place in the AFC West, unfortunately. They do have a defense, though. Derwin James, Kenneth Parham. That's the name in the secondary. Oh, yeah, Asante Samuel Jr. as well in the secondary. You got Kenneth Parham at middle linebacker. You got Bosa and Mack at the defensive front. Mack and Bosa, as I like to call it. The defense will be good, but the offense, I think they'll struggle, keeping them away from second. And that leads us to second. Speaking of which, the Denver Broncos will take that spot. I think Bo Nix will have a solid season. Sean Payton will teach him like a Drew Brees. And he has Cortland Sutton to throw to as well. He has Javonte Williams at running back. Greg Dulcich at tight end. He's got a pretty good offensive line. And defense, you got Pat Surtain. That's all I can think of. Yeah, that's pretty much it. They lost Justin Simmons, sadly. But I think they can work around this. I think Sean Payton has a great potential to lead the Broncos to a winning record, or even 8-9 record. That will be good, but the Broncos aren't catching up to the Chiefs. Of course not. Chiefs are owning this division this year, and it will show. And now we are on to the NFC. Time for the NFC North. The Minnesota Vikings, I'm sorry, but you guys are going to be last in the division. You guys have a quarterback controversy as well. Sam Darnold is your starter. J.J. McCarthy's out for the season. They have Justin Jefferson to throw to. I think KJ Osborne's gone? Yeah, I'm very sure he's gone. But the defense with Danielle Hunter and Harrison Smith, that's pretty much it. And Dallas Turner as well. Almost forgot about him. But overall, the Vikings, they just don't have enough pieces yet to really make a run. And third place in the NFC North, I got the Chicago Bears being NFC North. Caleb Williams, his first season, he's got a loaded receiving core. Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Roma Odunze. He's got Khalil Herbert at running back. I'm very sure he has a pretty solid offensive line. He has Cole Kmet to throw to as well. Defense definitely could use some work. But I think this team can beat the Vikings for third. The top two is going to be really hard to determine. People are going to say Lions should be the winner. Packers should be the winner. I'm going to say the Lions are going to be second. And the Packers are going to be first. Hey, once again, just don't criticize for me not picking your team first. This is only my opinion. Anyways, the Detroit Lions, they were a really good team. I think they still will be, just not enough to beat out the Packers. Lions, Jared Goff, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs at running back, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams at receiver. They have Sam Laporta at tight end. They have the best offensive line in football. And their defense is really solid as well. You can't go wrong with that Lions team. They got Aiden Hutchinson, I think Campbell as well, Jack Campbell, and I can't remember secondary that well. Jonathan Gardner-Johnson, I think his name is. Not sure. But that Lions team is really a team to look out for. And then we have the Packers. Kenny Clark and Jair Alexander are still on this team. Jordan Love is going to make those receivers better like Tom Brady did in his time. I am sure of it. Their Packers are going to go from a Hall of Fame quarterback to a Hall of Fame quarterback to another Hall of Fame quarterback. Like, who let this happen? Jeez. They lost Aaron Jones, but they have Josh Jacobs and A.J. Dillon at running back. Are you kidding me? You really replaced Aaron Jones with a better back in Josh Jacobs. He was just on a bad team with the Raiders. No offense, Raiders fans, but you guys are in the doldrums since your Super Bowl berth. But here's the NFC North. Fine. Now we are going to the worst division in football, the NFC South. I have to say this as a Falcons fan. We have the worst division. Let's get number 4 out of the way. Sorry, Panthers fans, but you're going to be last again. Fortunately, receiver core isn't going to get better. I mean, you do have Xavier Legette, but you still have Alan Thielen. You have 2 receivers, but Tommy Tremble, are you serious? Well, not even that. Chuba Hubbard. I call him Chuba Hubbard for obvious reasons. It's funny. Bryce Young's in his sophomore season. I think he'll improve, but not by much because they got rid of their best defensive player. Well, they have Derek Brown. They have J.C. Horn. But that's it. I can't take over. Anyways, that's why they are dead last in the entire NFC South. Next up, we got the New Orleans Saints at 3rd. This is basically the same team as last year. Derek Carr, quarterback, Kamara at running back, and they also got Jamal Williams, I'm very sure. Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, I'm very sure. And the defense, they got Demario Davis. I think Honey Badger's still there, I'm not sure. Cam Jordan's there. They also got Mormon Missile at tight end. Taysom Hill, that's who I call Mormon Missile. Anyways, ignore the noise. I have to do this. That's all I can say. Anyways, second is going to be the Atlanta Falcons instead of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. People are going to say... Anyways. Sorry if I say that word a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on. Anyways, people are going to say to me, Grizz, why do you have the Falcons at 2? They approve tremendously in the offseason. That is true. However, here's my problem. Rondale Moore's hurt. We have Grady Jarrett. Here, Troy Anderson's supposed to be taking over at middle linebacker. A.J. Terrell, Justin Simmons. We have Matt Judon as well on defense. I get that. Kirk Cousins is Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier running back. We have Drake London, Darnell Mooney, and Raymond McLeod with Kyle Pitts at tight end. We have a good offensive line. I mean, it's just the fact that the Falcons, they're not really doing too well with all the talent. I'm not too confident that Raheem Morris will save this Falcons team from having a playoff drought again. And here's the reason why the Lions are second. The NFL hates the Lions. Everybody knows that. That's why I think the NFL is going to screw the Lions and get the Packers in the first place. Here's the thing. The Falcons, they don't do too well with talent. Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, ever since 2017, Matt Ryan has been staying in the pocket for way too long. Ever since that 2017 season. Injuries have plagued us. Back Yes, bad pocket presence. Kirk Cousins won't have that same issue, I'm very sure. But it's just he doesn't have as talented a receiving core as everybody says. Because we did lose Rondale Moore. Sure, we got rid of Desmond Ridder. Unfortunately, we got rid of Taylor Heineke for some stupid reason. Just to let the rookie back up Kirk Cousins. But that is why the Falcons are in second. And for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they basically have the same team, and I think they will be competitive again. They will take the NFC South crown. Baker Mayfield with the shot right and running back. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Maybe Trey Palmer's there, receiver 3. I'm not too sure. Kate Otten at tight end. They have a good offensive line with Tristan Wirfs at the helm, and I think Ryan Jensen's still there. Vita Vea, Levante David, and Antoine Winfield just in the midfield on the defensive side. This team is going to be good to watch in the NFC South. Just be careful with those Buccaneers taking the division when nobody thought they would. Anyways, number 4 in the NFC East division. We got 2 divisions left. I'm going to say the New York Giants are going to be last. Sorry, Giants fans. The Saquon loss really hurt you guys. They got Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau out there, Brian Burns. It's not going to be enough. You need more pieces. Daniel Jones, unfortunately, he's a good quarterback, but his offensive line is breaking down on him. And I think they'll continue to do so. You need to get some offensive linemen that will stay healthy and will be very talented. Fortunately, the Giants do not have that. And they don't have a run game, which will make this offense very stale and one-dimensional. That's why I think they're going to be 4th. At 3, I got the Washington Commanders. They will not compete with the Eagles or Cowboys. Jaden Daniels, his first season in the NFL. He's thrown to Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson. He's got Austin Eckler at starting running back. I think he has Logan Thomas still at tight end. And on defense, defense really fell apart from a couple years ago when he had Chase Young, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, and Montez Sweat. I think Allen might be the only player, and Deron Payne on the defensive front. Sadly, that'll be their downfall. Their defense will prevent them from winning games. That's why I think they're going to be number 3. Eagles and Cowboys are going to be the tough ones in the NFC East. I think the Eagles are going to be 2nd, and the Cowboys are going to be 1st. Here's my reasoning. Sure, the Eagles got Saquon Barkley, but with Jason Kelce retiring, offensive line got a little bit weaker, but there's still a good offensive line. The main concern for me is the defense. They got Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. They also got Darius Slay. They're good. They're a good team. But the Cowboys are just a little bit better. Actually, yeah. Dak Prescott at the quarterback. They also got CeeDee Lamb at receiver, along with Brandon Cooks and South Alabama guy, Torbert. And they also have Jake Ferguson at tight end. Sure, Tyron Smith left the offensive line, but if you know anything about the Cowboys, they draft some good offensive line. They still got Zach Martin, so he should be good on the offensive line for the Cowboys. They also got DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons on the defensive front. They also got Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs in the secondary. This team is going to be elite in the regular season. Playoffs, I'm not so sure. But the defense, absolutely. But the regular season, absolutely. They will clinch the NFC East for the 2nd straight year. Anyways, we are now on to our final division, the NFC West. Starting off with the Arizona Cardinals at 4. Not much else to say here. The Cardinals need more pieces. They have Kyler Murray, James Conner at the backs. They also got Marvin Harrison. Fortunately, they did lose Rondale Moore, and Hollywood Brown's gone as well. So they really don't have very many receivers to throw to. Defense, it kind of fell apart. It really did fall apart. Unfortunately, they're just not competing for a division title right now. That's why they are fourth. For third, I have the LA Rams. And, oh no, let's just get the first team out of the way as well. Because the Rams, they're going to be competitive on offense, but defensively, I don't think so. I don't see it. It's like some of those teams, like from the Pac-10 last year, or if you're LSU, you have a great offense, but a bad defense. I think the defense will heavily regress without Aaron Donald. With Aaron Donald retiring, but the offense will thrive on the Rams. They have Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee as the receiving core. With Kyron Williams, I think he's a solid running back for the Rams. Matt Stafford, he's in his late 30s, so it's going to be interesting to see how he performs at that age. With his receiving talent, I think he'll play pretty solid. But unfortunately, the defense is really going to be what holds this team back, in my personal opinion. Seattle Seahawks, I think they're in the same boat, except they have a little bit better defense with Tariq Woolen out there, Devin Witherspoon at secondary. You also got Geno Smith coming back, Kenneth Walker, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, JSN at receiving core. Their team is good, though. Their team is a playoff contender, but the Niners, they're on another level. They're going to be the 1 seed. Ravens will be the 1 seed of the AFC as well. Niners, they're just a very complete team. Brock Purdy at quarterback. McCaffrey at running back. They also got Juszczyk at fullback. Juice. They got Deebo Samuel, Ayuk at wide receiver. George Kittle at tight end. Trent Williams out there at offensive lineman. They got a great offensive line, but the defense is where this team really performs. They got Nick Bosa, Chase Young at the defensive front. Linebackers, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw. Secondary does have some concerns, but overall this defense is loaded. Offense is loaded. Look out for this team to make a big run to the NFC Championship, maybe even the Super Bowl for a change. And I guess at this time I'll make my Super Bowl picks. I say the Chiefs play the Packers in the Super Bowl with the Chiefs winning. Now on to the bonus segment. Alright, so this is the bonus segment. We got a fantasy football on our hands. I'm going to be showing off my fantasy football team. Let me know in the comments if this is a W or an L. So basically, I had the 5th overall pick in this draft, and I was able to take CeeDee Lamb first, Mike Evans second, took my quarterback at Jalen Hurts third. Then I go ahead and get Kenneth Walker and Rashee Rice in the 4-5. 6, 7, 8, I get Javonte Williams, Jake Ferguson, my tight end, and Cortland Sutton. I get Chuba Hubbard at 9, Chase Brown at 10, Myers at 11, Dobbins at 12. And then the last 3 picks were Taysom Hill, Younghoe Koo, and the Broncos defense. But honestly, I'm going to switch out the Broncos defense for a defense that I want to get in the future. Anyways, let me know in the comments if that's a W or an L. And that's all for the bonus segment for now. Alright, you guys, and that is going to be all for this podcast for this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoy this episode, and I'm really hoping that episode 2 will be even better. Anyways, take it easy, guys, and good luck in your fantasy football or your NFL predictions. See you later.